Welcome to yoga. I'm Liza. Today is Wellness Wednesday at Springfield College, a time to slow down, take time for self care, finding a balance between work and rest. And in that spirit, our yoga practice today will focus on balance poses. Balance poses could help us to cultivate a sense of confidence, help us to focus, can also help us to develop a sense of humility when our practice is not quite as strong. Balance poses can also be helpful in preventing fall prevention. So there's lots of benefits to practicing balance, and we'll practice our balance beginning closer to the floor and then work our way up towards standing balance. So we will get started now lying down on our back. So make sure you've got space for yourself, take your shoes off and find your way to lie down on your mat. And coming to lie down on your mat with the knees bent and the feet hips width apart. And you may wish to close your eyes or gaze very softly. And just begin to get settled into your position. Feeling your connection to the earth as you bring your attention to the parts of your body that are in contact with the mat. And see if you could bring a little bit more of the upper back and shoulders in contact with your mat. Lengthening through the back of the neck and tucking the chin in slightly. Bringing the feet hips width apart and drawing the knees together to touch to invite the legs to relax. And then rest the hands on top of the belly, allowing the arms and hands to relax. And now focus your breath, breathing in and out through the nostrils. And as you inhale, feeling the belly rise as the torso expands, filling your lungs. And as you exhale, emptying, feeling the belly sinking away from the hands and towards the spine. Breathing without force or strain. Inhaling, expanding through the torso. Exhaling, emptying. And one more full deep breath, inhaling. And exhaling. Breathing fully and deeply and focusing our attention on the breath and the body can help us to support ourselves in balance. And now we'll move on to warming up the head and the neck. So stretching the neck, turning the head over one shoulder, turning the head to the side, keeping the back of the head on the floor. And then inhale, coming back to center, and then exhale, turning the head to look past your opposite shoulder. And then inhaling, slowly returning to center. And now reaching the arms overhead and then bending at the elbows and clasping opposite elbows with the hands. We'll stretch out the shoulders and the arms. As you next inhale, bring the forearms to the forehead, past the top of the head if you like. And then as you continue to breathe, stretching the arms over to one side, down towards the navel, over to your other side, and up and around. So continue to breathe deeply as you circle the arms. Bringing the arms up to the top of the head, down to one shoulder, down to the navel, and around to the other side. You can make these circles smaller or larger, exploring your range of motion. And the next time the arms overhead, pausing and reverse and taking your circles in the opposite direction. And the next time you reach the arms over towards your left side, stretching the arms and holding them over to the left, using the top hand to gently pull on the upper arm, giving a stretch through the shoulder into the back. Breathing, keeping both shoulder blades on the mat. And on the next inhalation, slowly drawing the arms back to center, and then drawing both arms over to the right side. Again, gently pulling with the right hand to give a stretch to the upper arm on the left side. One more breath here. And then inhaling, drawing the arms back up to center. And now straightening the arms so the fingertips are reaching up towards the sky, and bending in one knee and then the other. And then extend the legs straight so that the toes and fingertips are reaching up in the air, coming into dead bug. From here, we'll move into warming up and strengthening the core to, again, help us to prepare for our balances later. So begin by reaching long through the left fingertips and press up through the right toes. And as you inhale, slowly lower the left arm overhead as you lower the right leg down towards the floor, just about an inch or so away from the mat. And inhaling, coming back up to center. And again, exhale, lower the arm and leg, staying on the left arm and the right leg. And inhale, lifting. Exhale, lower. And keeping the core engaged, navel moving towards the spine. And once more on this side. And back to center. And now other side, reach long through the right fingertips, press along through the left leg. Inhaling, lower the arm and leg down. Exhaling, lift. Inhaling, lower. Exhaling, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And once more on this side. And now we'll alternate from side to side, or you can take a break if you need to. So now reach long through the left arm and the right leg. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And now right arm and left leg. Inhale as you lower. Exhale, lift. And continue alternating sides. Moving at your own pace, using the breath, keeping the core engaged. And once more, lowering the right arm and the left leg. And returning to center. Arms and legs are reaching long overhead. Dead bug pose. And now give the arms and legs a shake. So loosen up the arms and legs, shake out the hands, shake out the fingers, releasing any tension, tightness, letting the muscles soften and relax. Feel like you could release a little sound through the mouth, just let everything relax. Shaking a little bit more. And now coming to stillness, reaching long through the arms and legs. Close the eyes if you like. And just notice the vibrations. Noticing any sensations of warmth, energy, aliveness. Noticing what you're feeling in the limbs. And now on your next exhalation, bending the knees and drawing the knees in towards the chest, releasing the lower back, rocking a little from side to side. And now coming back to stillness, bending the knees and returning the feet to the floor. Bringing the feet and knees about hips width apart and walking them in close to your bottom. We'll move on to strengthening and warming up the spine and making our way into bridge pose. Bridge pose will also help to give a little stretch to the muscles of the abdomen that we just worked. So bring the hands by your sides, palms to the floor. Again, grounding the upper back and shoulder blades into the mat and keeping the back of the neck long. On your next inhalation, lifting the hips an inch or so away from the mat. And then as you exhale, lower the hips back down. And again, inhaling, lifting the hips a little bit higher. And then exhaling, returning the hips to the mat. Continue to move back and forth, lifting the hips a little higher each time if you like. Warming up the spine here. Make sure to keep the knees hip width apart so you're using the strength of your legs to help support you here. You could stay here with the lifting and lowering, or you could come to hold bridge posture. So if you'd like to hold the bridge, you might want to bring the hips so that they're in line with the shoulders and the knees. Or you could keep them lower if that feels best for you. Always listening to your body. And if you're feeling open, you could lift the hips a little bit higher if you like. Coming to the place that feels good, where you feel a comfortable stretch without strain. And it's fine to keep the palms to the floor. Or if it's accessible, you have the option to either take hold of the ankles or interlace the hands together, bringing one shoulder blade at a time underneath you, opening up the torso and chest a little bit more. So you're welcome to challenge yourself a bit if you like, but come to a place where you can hold bridge comfortably without strain. Keep breathing in and out through your nose and feel that expansion through the belly, torso on each inhalation, emptying on the exhale. Inhalation, expand through the belly, the rib cage, the upper chest, and then exhaling, soften. Taking a few more full deep breaths here in bridge. And you're always welcome to lift and lower, move in and out of the pose if holding doesn't feel right for you right now. And one more full deep breath here in bridge. And we'll prepare to ease out of the posture now. So if you have clasped your hands together, releasing the hands and returning one shoulder blade at a time to the floor. And then very slowly lowering one vertebrae at a time, gradually releasing through the upper back, lowering down through the middle back. And very slowly returning the hips all the way to the mat. Bring the knees together to touch, slide the feet a little further away to allow the legs to relax. And breathe as you notice these sensations of release. Noticing what has changed after holding bridge pose. And now walk the feet about as wide apart as your mat and extend the arms to T position at shoulder height. And now begin to drop the knees from side to side, releasing the spine and pelvis. And as you drop the knees over to one side, you turn the head to look in the opposite direction, bringing the twist up into the head and neck. So as you lower the knees, see if you could bring both knees all the way to the mat if that's accessible. And move at your own pace, feeling free to move quicker or slower as you like. Finding a way to coordinate the movement with your breath, perhaps inhaling as the knees lift and exhaling as they lower. And the next time the knees come back to center, releasing the movement and drawing the knees in towards the chest, placing a hand on top of each knee. So in a moment, we'll prepare to transition from our backs to a seated position. So you have the option to rock over to one side into a fetal position and ease your way up to table. Or you have the option to do some spinal rocking and making your way up to seated. So see what feels right for you. If you would like to try the spinal rocking, be sure that you've got lots of space around you. Bring the hands to the backs of the thighs. And draw a breath in, and then as you exhale, rock up to seated, and then rock back onto the shoulders. So if this feels good, you can move back and forth with the breath, inhaling as you rock back onto the shoulder blades, lifting the hips, and then inhale, rocking up to seated. And if this doesn't feel good, you could rock a little from side to side, and then roll over to your side and make your way up to seated. And if you're in the spinal rocking, if you'd like to challenge yourself, you could come up into a balance, keeping the feet off the floor, then try rocking back and forth a few times. So if you're working on the balance, keeping the chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, engaging the core and drawing the navel to the spine to support you as you balance, keeping your feet off the floor. I hear my dogs are up. All right. If you're in the balance, you could try holding a little bit longer here. Keeping your spine long, keeping the head and neck in line with the spine and breathing. And lowering back down. Extend the legs and give them a little shake from side to side. So if you haven't tried the balance yet, we'll ease into that together. So coming to sit with the knees bent and the feet on the floor and bringing the hands behind you underneath your shoulders, fingertips pointing forward. So sitting tall, opening through the chest, relaxing the shoulders down, drawing the shoulder blades together. And it could be helpful to find a focal point ahead of you, a spot on the wall at eye level, something that isn't moving to focus your gaze and attention. And now pulling the navel in towards the spine, relax your shoulders and shift the weight onto the tailbone as you lift one leg and then the other, keeping the knees bent, shins are parallel to the floor. Keep opening through the chest, keep your spine long, breathe. And exhale, lower down. So we'll ease our way into the balance, and you could stay in this version or I'll offer you some other variations. So once again, lift through the chest, lengthen your spine, shift the weight into the tailbone, lifting one leg and then the other. And you could stay here or you could try taking hold of the thighs with one hand and then the other. Lifting through the chest. Keep the collarbones wide. Keep breathing. Exhale, lower the feet down. So again, we'll try that again. It's fine to keep the hands on the floor. You could keep the hands on the thighs, and you could stay in either of these versions, or we'll try some other variations. So again, starting with the hands on the floor, opening the chest, lifting the legs, perhaps taking hold of the thighs or keeping the hands on the mat. Keep opening through the chest, breathe. And you could stay here, or if you'd like a little more challenge, you could try straightening the legs. Or you could keep the knees bent and try releasing the arms. Or you could bring that together Arms and legs extended straight. Keep the core engaged. For more of a challenge, if you could reach the toes, you could take hold of your toes with the peace fingers and straighten the legs. See what feels good for you, being patient with yourself. And very slowly exhaling, lowering the legs down, straightening the legs, and rolling the feet a little bit from side to side. And from here, we'll move next into a table position. So making your way onto your hands and knees. And if you're feeling a lot of pressure on the wrist, you always have the option to drop down onto the elbows and rest on the forearms. Or you can also make fists and rest on the knuckles. So see what feels good for you. And you can always shift around through those options. So in table, if you're on the hands, the wrists are underneath the shoulders, the fingers spread wide. And keep a slight bend in the elbows. Really press the hands into the mat, opening up through the chest, broadening through the collarbones, move the shoulder blades down the back, and lengthen through your spine. Extend the tailbone and the crown of the head in opposite directions, keeping the feet and knees hips width apart. And now extending your left leg back, bringing the ball of the foot to the mat, and rock forward and back, giving a stretch to the calf and the back of the leg. And now coming to hold, pressing out through the heel. Keep breathing, keep the head and neck in line with the spine. And now on your next inhalation, lift the leg so the heel is extended straight back in line with the hip. And now circle the foot at the ankle, circling in one direction, and then reversing. And coming to stillness, pressing out through the heel, activating that leg, draw the navel towards the spine. We'll prepare to come into another balance here. So gaze at the floor in front of your mat. And now begin to come onto the fingertips of your right hand and walk the hand towards the front of your mat. And then as you're ready, extending the arm at shoulder height. So you can always return the right hand to the floor if you need a rest. You can always move in and out of the balance. Just imagine you're being gently pulled in opposite directions. Pull through the right wrist and through the left ankle, creating length throughout your spine. Keep breathing and finding that focal point. Inviting the mind to focus on the breath. Breathe. And then exhale, slowly lower that hand down, return the knee to the floor, return to table. And before coming to the other side, we'll pause for a rest in puppy. Keeping the hips lifted above the knees, slide the arms forward. And you can allow the head to hover, or you could lower the chest or forehead to the mat, keeping your hips lifted. Breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Taking a little rest here in puppy. And now releasing, easing your way back up into table position. Again, spreading the fingers wide, keeping a slight bend in the elbows. Lengthening through the spine and moving the shoulders down the back. And now we'll prepare for the other side. Extend the right leg back, bringing the ball of the foot to the floor and lifting the heel and rock forward and back. And come to stillness, pressing out through the heel, stretching through the leg.
Now, as you next inhale, lift the leg. Heel is extended in line with the hip, sole of the foot pressing towards the wall behind you. And now circle the foot at the ankle, moving in one direction. And pause, and now reverse and circle in the other direction. And letting go of the circles, getting ready to balance. Again, press out through the sole of the foot, engaging that back leg. Pull the navel in towards the spine, shoulders moving down the back. Finding a focal point, a spot on the floor ahead of you to fix your gaze and attention, keeping your mind steady and the breath flowing to help support you in your balance. Come on to the fingertips of your left hand and ease into the balance by walking the fingertips to the front of your mat. You can always lower that arm down. Slowly lift the arm in line with the shoulders, thumb pointing upward. And again, reach long, pressing out through the right foot, reach long through the left fingertips. Feeling a sense of lengthening throughout your body. And see if you could keep the back heel, hip, the hip, shoulder, and the wrist all in one plane, one long line. Keep breathing. You could challenge yourself to hold a little bit longer, or you could release the left arm down, take a rest, and come back in. Finding the balance between effort and ease. Breathe. And now exhaling, slowly lower the hand down, lower the knee, return to table. Pause here and notice these sensations in one side of the body in relation to the other. Again, we'll take that rest by coming into puppy, keeping the hips lifted, slide the arms forward, lower the forehead or chest to meet the mat. And now lift the head and chest, bringing the forearms to the floor. So the elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Palms are spread wide. We'll prepare to come into dolphin. So bringing the balls of the feet to the floor. And on your next inhalation, lifting the knees, lifting the hips. So this is kind of like downward dog, but we're on the forearms, giving the wrists a little break here. Extending the tailbone up and back, heels are lifted. Breathe. And lower the knees back down. Now come onto the balls of the feet, walking the hands towards the feet, bending the knees, coming into a low squat. We'll make our way to standing from here. Straightening the legs, release the crown of the head, coming into your forward fold. Relax the crown of the head, soften through the knees. And now either come onto the fingertips or bring the hands to the shins, lifting halfway so the spine is parallel to the earth, and then exhaling, soften forward, relax the arms, relax the head and the neck. And now press into your feet, bring the hands to the hips. Move the navel towards the spine and hinge from the hips as you slowly make your way to standing, taking your time, keeping a long and neutral spine. And after you've made your way upright, extending the arms out to the side and overhead, bring the palms to touch, and then exhale, lower the hands down to prayer position in front of the heart. Close the eyes or gaze softly. Breathing deeply, feeling the heartbeat with the thumbs, allowing yourself to adjust to standing upright. And now releasing the arms. And inhaling, draw both shoulders up towards the ears. And then as you exhale, open the chest, draw the shoulder blades towards one another as you roll the shoulders down. And continue rolling the shoulders, moving with the breath, easing away any tension or tightness you may be holding in the upper back and shoulders. Lubricating the joints.
And rolling the shoulders once more and then releasing the arms down. Standing tall in mountain pose, really grounding the feet into the earth, pressing evenly through the balls of the feet and the heels, feeling that grounding and connection. Engaging the legs, drawing the muscles up, keeping the knees soft. Bringing your pelvis to a neutral alignment by lengthening evenly through the abdomen and the lower back. Lifting the ribcage away from the hips. Broadening through the chest, move the shoulders down the back. Lengthen through the head and the neck, standing in simple mountain foundation for all poses. On your next inhalation, reaching the arms out to the side and then overhead. Bringing the arms shoulder width apart, reaching long through the fingertips, pulling the shoulder blades down the back. And finding a focal point ahead of you, something that isn't moving, to fix your gaze and attention as we prepare to lift the heels and come into a balance. Draw a breath in, exhale. On your next inhalation, lift through the heels, keep the spine long, breathing, finding your focal point, and then exhale, slowly lower the heels back down. Again, inhaling, lift heels. You can lift the heels a little or a lot. Exhale, lower down. So repeat this a few more times, and you can challenge yourself to hold the balance a little longer each time. Keeping the mind still, focusing on a spot ahead of you. I'm looking at a pine tree outside my window. Keep breathing. Exhale, lower the hips back, lower the heels back down. And now we'll add on a little bit here, adding a squat. So now keeping the feet on the floor, bend deeply into the knees, bringing the arms to shoulder height. Imagine you're sitting in a chair that's a little too far away, pressing the hips back, weight is in the heels. Arms come to shoulder height parallel to the floor. We'll move back and forth between the balancing mountain and squat. So inhaling, straightening the arms and legs. Rise onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels. And then exhale, lower the heels down as you bend into the knees, extend the arms in front of you. Continue to move back and forth, inhaling as you rise up, lift into your balance, lifting the heels. Exhale, lower down into the squat. We're giving a little strengthening here to the legs as you challenge yourself in the balance. And the next time that you find yourself in the squat, holding here. Keep opening through the chest, move the shoulders down the back. Keep breathing deeply in and out through your nose. Allowing a little bit of sensation and heat to build. And now the next inhalation, straightening up, lifting, coming back to the balance, lifting the heels. The shoulders relaxed. See where you could soften in the body as you hold, keeping the face and jaw relaxed. Maybe a little soft smile. Breathe. And now exhaling very slowly, lowering the heels back down gradually. Extend the arms out to the sides as you exhale, turning the palms at shoulder height to face the floor, and gradually release the arms down by your sides. Relax the arms. Breathe and just notice the sensations, the energy. Notice any feelings of warmth,
spaciousness. Notice whatever it is you're feeling in the moment. So we've done some balance work close to the floor. We did a little balance here on 2 feet, and now we'll move into balancing on one leg. So first, give a little shake to one leg and then the other. So we'll build on what we've done already, using the strength of the core, using a focal point, focusing on our breath to help us now to balance on one leg. And we'll prepare to move first into crane pose, and we'll balance first on our right leg. So you're welcome to practice your balance poses standing near a wall. And if you like, you can hold onto the wall with your fingertips and try letting go of the wall and playing with your balance that way, easing yourself in. So if you'd like to position yourself near a wall, you could feel free to move around. So we'll begin by standing tall in mountain pose, balancing first on our 2 legs, relaxing the shoulders and standing tall. And now begin to shift your weight into that right leg, really pressing evenly through the inside and the outside of the right foot, strengthening that right leg without locking the knee, and begin to lift the heel of your left leg, coming onto the ball of that foot and easing into the balance. Again, find your focal point, breathe, and as you're ready, continue to lift through the left knee, keeping the knee bent as you lift the knee to the height of your hip and extend the arms to shoulder height, keeping a little bend in the shoulders, elbows, and wrists, coming into crane or karate kid pose. Breathing here. And then exhaling, slowly lowering down, gracefully returning the foot to the floor. Relax the arms. Take a breath or two in stillness here, noticing how one side of the body feels in comparison to the other. And now prepare for the other side. So really planting that left foot into the floor. Just imagine that you're planting roots down into the earth, strengthening that leg like the trunk of a tree. And now beginning to shift your weight into that left leg as the right heel begins to lift. And now keeping the right knee bent, lifting the leg to the height of your hip, and then adding the arms. Soft shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Find your focal point. Keep breathing. And it's fine if you wobble or need to move in and out of the pose. Just smile and be patient with yourself. If you're holding onto the wall, you could try holding on and letting go, challenging yourself. One more breath here, and then exhaling, slowly lowering down. Relax the arms, relax the legs, close the eyes for a moment to check in and receive. Notice with compassion and curiosity whatever it is that you're experiencing. And opening the eyes. So next we'll move into a little bit of a balancing flow where we'll link together a set of poses on one side and then the other. And I'll offer you the challenge of maintaining balance throughout, but if you need to put your foot down in between the poses, you could feel free. So come to stand at the front of your mat. We'll start off in crane and then we'll add on warrior and another balance, starting on one side and then the other. So standing at the front of your mat, making your way into your mountain pose. Standing tall, relaxing the shoulders. And we'll begin by balancing first on the right leg. So really strengthening your right leg and then lifting your left knee away from the floor, coming into crane, extending the arms. Standing tall, keeping the core engaged, using your focal point. Keeping the breath steady and the mind clear. So then we'll prepare to step back into warrior one. Take a breath in and then exhaling, stepping back, bending deeply into your right knee, arms are overhead. And you can adjust your stance here. You could walk the back foot in a little closer for more stability or slide it further away for a deeper stretch. Hips are squared forward, back heel is lifted. Pressing the thighs towards one another. Draw the tailbone down, lengthening through the abdomen and the lower back. Broadening through the chest, move the shoulders down, reach long through the arms and fingertips. And we'll hold warrior for another breath and then we'll press right back up into crane. So tip the torso forward, shifting the weight back into the right leg, lifting the left knee, coming back into crane. You can make your way there gracefully, or you can just step forward and ease back into the pose. And from here, we'll add another variation. So bringing that right hand across to your left knee. We'll add a little twist here, opening up to your left side. You could twist a little or a lot, but don't force it. And now inhaling, slowly unwinding from the twist, coming back to center. Bring the hands to the hips, keeping that knee lifted and bent. We'll add another little challenge here, straightening the front leg, keeping the leg close to hip height, flexing out through the foot. Breathing. Keep lifting through the chest. Keep breathing deeply as you press out through the front leg. And now exhaling, slowly lowering the leg down. Relax the arms by your side, standing tall in your mountain pose, and just breathe here. Again, notice how one side of the body feels in comparison to the other. And accepting your experience with patience and humility. And I'll give a little shake to one leg and then the other. And we turn to the top of your mat. We'll repeat that sequence on the other side. So begin by standing tall, relaxing the shoulders, finding your focal point. Now really planting through your left foot, straightening, keeping that left leg strong. Soft bend in the knee. And as you're ready, lifting through that right knee, making your way into crane. See if you could bring that knee in line with the hip. Keep the arms relaxed, soft joints, core engaged, breath steady. And as you next inhale, bringing the arms overhead as you step that right foot back, bending into the front knee, coming into warrior one on this side. Back heel is lifted, feet are hips width apart. Really ground into the feet and the legs. Press out through that back heel, using the strength of that back leg to stabilize you. And the core engaged. Square the hips forward. Draw your tailbone down. Press the thighs towards one another. Keeping the chest open, the shoulders relaxed, breathing deeply in and out through the nose. Expanding through the torso. Inhaling, filling the belly, ribs, and upper chest. Exhale, soften. We'll prepare to shift forward, making our way back into crane. Shifting your weight into the front leg, tipping forward, lifting the back leg, opening the arms, coming back to crane. If you need to put that right foot down on the floor in between or take a break anytime, feel free. And we'll prepare now for the twist. Bringing your left hand across to the right knee. Right arm is extended at shoulder height. And slowly begin to twist, opening to your right side, finding a new focal point as you twist the torso, bringing the head and neck along. Keep breathing. It's fine if you wobble or need to come in and out of your balance. One more breath here. Inhaling very slowly, unwinding, coming back to center, bringing both hands to your hips. And now straightening the leg. Flexing through the foot. Relax your shoulders, stand tall. Keep the hips level. One more breath here. And exhale, slowly relax that leg down to the floor. Again, pause here in stillness, relax the arms. Receiving the energy, the sensations. Feel like closing the eyes and notice what has been strengthened, stretched. Noticing what feels different after practicing these balance poses. Give a little shake to one leg and then the other. So balance poses could be challenging, and the more that you practice them, you'll find more ease, and that helps to build your sense of confidence and feeling like you could do anything if you could do this. Releasing the legs fully. We'll come into one more standing side stretch pose. So bringing the hands to the hips, standing tall with the feet hips width apart. Now bring your left foot behind the right, crossing at the ankle, steadying yourself on both feet. And if this isn't working for you, it's fine to keep the feet side by side. Release your left arm. Inhale, bringing that arm out to the side and overhead and stretching gently over to your right. Extending the left hip out to the side and slightly forward. Keeping your head and neck in line with the spine, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And you can stay right here, keeping the hand on the hip, or if you like, you have the option to take hold of the wrist overhead. So keep lengthening through both sides of the torso. And you could stay right here. If you like, you could move just a little bit deeper on your next exhalation. And now press into the feet, pull the navel towards the spine, and inhale as you slowly come back to center. Stepping the feet together and slowly releasing the arms down. Pause again. Notice how one side feels in relation to the other. And before we balance that out, we'll pause to open the chest. So clasp the hands together behind the back. Straighten the arms. Bring the shoulder blades towards one another. Broaden through the chest and the collarbones. Stretching through the chest, arms, shoulders. Exhaling, release. And we'll move again to the standing stretch on the other side. Standing tall, planting the feet, hands to hips. Crossing your right foot now behind the left. Taking a moment to steady yourself here, or keeping the feet side by side if that works better. So press into the feet, engaging the legs, lengthening through the abdomen and the lower back. And now release your right arm. Inhale as you lift the arm out to the side and overhead, reaching the torso to the left. So there's no need to stretch over very far. You want to focus on lengthening through both sides of the torso, keeping the chest lifted, shoulders relaxed. Pressing the hips out to the right side and slightly forward. Again, find your focal point, breathe. Notice if there's a little bit of balance in this posture too. Perhaps take hold of the wrist overhead as an option. You could stay here, you could release, or if you like, moving a little deeper into the stretch, coming into your fullest expression for another breath or two. And now press into the feet, navel to spine. Inhale slowly, making your way back to center. Step the feet together side by side. On your next exhalation, gradually lower the arms slowly down by your sides. Relax the arms, close the eyes or gaze softly, receive. Softly open the eyes, give a little shake to one leg and then the other. And we'll prepare to make our way down towards the floor. I'll move through a half sun salutation. So stand tall with the arms by your side, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, lifting the arms out to the side and overhead, palms touch, gaze upward. And then exhale, hinge forward, extend the arms to T position. Long neutral spine, soft knees, make your way into your forward fold. Either bring the hands to the shins or rise onto the fingertips, lifting halfway, bringing your spine parallel to the earth. Exhale, soften and fold forward. Bend the knees as much as you need to so the hands can reach your mat, and then step one knee back and then the other. Preparing now for child pose. Bringing the big toes together to touch, knees wider than hips width apart. And then exhaling, sending the hips back to your heels. You can come into extended child by lowering the forehead to the mat, or you could keep the head away from the floor and allow the head to hover. Other options are to place one hand on top of the other, resting the forehead on your hands. Another option, you could stack fists and rest the forehead on top of your hands. If you happen to have a block, it's nice to rest the forehead on a block. So feel free to make any adjustments in child so that you feel comfortable. Making sure there's plenty of space for the breath, bringing the knees wide enough apart so that the belly can soften and relax. Keep breathing deeply in and out through the nose. And as you inhale, feel an expansion through the front sides and back of the torso. Exhale, soften. Keep breathing deeply and see if you could send the breath into the back of your body. And holding child, Garbhasana pose for one more full deep breath. And preparing to slowly release. So extend your arms overhead back into extended child if you're not there already. And make your way onto the belly, sliding the torso forward, straightening the leg. Bringing one hand over the other to rest the forehead and give the hips a little wiggle from side to side to release the back. And from here, we will make our way to roll over onto our backs. So extending one arm overhead, bending the opposite arm, bringing that hand next to the chest or shoulder, and then roll your way onto your back. Lying on your back with the legs extended. Arms by your sides, palms facing upward. Allow your eyes to close. See if you could bring a little bit more of the upper back and shoulders in contact with the floor, and shift the hips a little to find a neutral, comfortable position. And once you're settled, coming into stillness, resting and relaxing. Allowing your body to let go of all effort. Taking time to rest. Feeling the muscles of the body growing warm, soft, and heavy. And as your body begins to soften and release, inviting the mind towards stillness. Putting aside any thoughts that may be distracting or that do not serve you in this moment. Reminding yourself that right now there is nothing else to do, nowhere else to be, but to rest here in stillness and receive the benefits of your practice. And now, very slowly begin to turn the head from side to side. Bringing the head back to center. Lifting the legs and bringing the feet together to touch. Bringing the hands together to touch. Rubbing the hands, rubbing the feet, waking up. Bringing back some warmth and aliveness. And now draw the knees into the chest. Come to roll over onto your right side, resting in a fetal position. Taking a moment here to acknowledge your efforts and dedication. As you're ready, very slowly pressing into the hands, making your way up to a seated position. Sitting tall in any way that is comfortable, relaxing the hands in the lap. Keeping the eyes closed, and check in to notice how you're feeling now in your body, mind, breath. Notice what has changed for you since the start of your practice. And as you ease into your day, I encourage you to continue to find a balance of work and rest, effort and ease, continuing to make time for self-care. Bringing the hands to prayer position in front of the heart, dropping the chin to the chest. Om Shanti.
peace. May the peace in our hearts bring peace into the world. Softly allow the eyes to open, lifting the gaze. Namaste. I honor the light in you. Feel free to join me live on Zoom Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. or catch my recordings on YouTube.